Right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Physics 65th meeting. Today is a Wednesday and it's the 5th of June. I welcome everyone to this platform where science meets spirituality. Physics, as you know, is the free energy special interest group. And I just want to share screen here with the PowerPoint presentation. This is the first session where Larry Woods would be speaking. And I am Crystal Gore, the founder and initiator of the Free Energy Special Interest Group. And my co-chair today is Dr. Fres Fressel. So today's agenda is actually, well, I've done a quick presentation of physics just now, and we have the speaker with us, Larry Woods, who speaks about his work and experience as an inventor and how the suppression intimidates and threatens. And he will be talking about Nicola Tesla, the metaphysician in the Mahabharata's Vimanas, which is so interesting. He actually had been communicating with Swamiji Vivekananda in India, and that's how he used the word akasha and prana in his designs, in his terminologies of his inventions, Nikola Tesla's. And Larry would be talking about the various designs of alternative energy and more. And we have done the second session first just now of the FESIG R&D, which is really amazing, headed by Pontus and Bress, and with the rest of the R&D team talking about the technology of the Buie-Morin motor generator. And so it's the other way around. And now the first session is starting right now, is commencing. And if you need to write to me, I am at this email address, crystal@truevisionofpeace.com. Thank you. Right, so without much ado, I'm going to hand the microphone over. I have here with me, and the rest of us here who are the meeting attendees of this 65th meeting, a very, how shall I put, brilliant quantum physicist. Okay, he's known as one of the more forward-thinking futurist quantum physicists here that you could ever come across. And his name is Mike Emery, and he's here actually because the reason why we didn't have Larry speaking right away, Larry's son had met with an accident, and so sorry to hear about that, Larry. So Larry had to be in the hospital all day, and he couldn't come in earlier. That's why we swapped the meetings around a bit, and in desperation, I got hold of Mike Emery, who's an old friend of mine, and he immediately said, okay, yes, he will step in. And then at the same time, Larry has come back as well. So now that the two of them are here, I would like Mike to say a few words about what is really so exciting right now for him that he's looking into, and perhaps he can give us a little teaser for a couple of minutes, and then we can bring him back for the next meeting where he will have a proper speakers platform for the full 40 minutes, 45 minutes, okay, before Larry gets onto the platform to speak. So Mike, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Crystal. Thank you kindly, guys. I won't take very much of your time. This is not difficult. Well, people be interested to know maybe that I learned from John Bedini and Tom Bearden and Al Bielek and these kind of guys, you know, and I've been at it since Christ was a corporal. And we replicated some of the technology, the Montauk Project. I mean, it's amazing stuff. Anyway, and now, as I said earlier, the Tesla Neutron guys, I know them too. They go anywhere in space and time instantly, physically. Physical teleportation. Everything teleports anyway. It all blinks in and blinks out. And the reason it blinks in and blinks out is because it's a holographic universe. Holographic universe is created by capacitance fields that are in between the ethers. The ethers are 2D. So just like capacitance plates, 2D, two plates right side each other. Really simple. And so it's a dynamic electrostatic field. The information you put on one plate comes out the other side, amplified, just like an analog amplifier. So we take that, which is basically the basis of Orgone energy, Wilhelm Reich's Orgone energy, and we have put that on steroids. And the way that we have put it on steroids is with a Tesla violet ray wand. You take a concrete block, which is a whole bunch of capacitance fields inside of a concrete block. It's a calcium silicate. The calcium is a conductor, silicate's dielectric or insulating material. And I was just talking to a guy in Hilo, Hawaii, that had done that. He put a Tesla violet ray wand to a concrete block, and it blew him out the door. And he'd been doing Orgone for years. And the energy, it hits you, it opens your heart chakra. This, what we call the organic bubble. We can't use Reich's word, Orgone, because the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission is coming down on it. But at the end of the day, it's capacitance and putting in your intentions at seed level in non-polar zone. The capacitance field has no vibrations in it, no cycles per second, no seconds. And so you have either no time or all time, and you have connection to all things. And it's just totally amazing what's been going on. Since we started the Bubble Project, May of last year, there has not been one single hurricane on planet Earth make landfall as a hurricane, period. We stopped them, all of them. The media tries to report that they're there, but they're not. You look into the real facts. No, I didn't. Sorry. And it goes on like that, including the volcano in Hawaii, and just totally amazing things. Healings, mass healings, bugs running away, bad bugs running away, good bugs showing up, mice running away, rats running away. You know, the energy is euphoric, and anything that lives in fear, including cops, have to leave. You know, and so the organic field, or the bubble field, is very powerful. It allows people on your own, with your own will and your own intentions, to create magic, to clear the chemtrails. My bubble here, they try to spray chemtrails, but as far as the eye can see, it disappears. Chemtrail disappears right behind the plane. And the reason is because, again, of the capacitance, you're cleaning at the etheric level, at the core level. So it cleans everything. It's not just the chemtrails. It's also the water, the trees, the plants, the animals, and soil, and the humans. Everybody gets clean. Everybody straightens out. It's really quite amazing. So that's that. And there's the Facebook page called Bubble Tech. You go on there. There's every day there's new miracles, and there's a long list of miracles, very, very long list of miracles. You look, the magic in the air, or just magic. You look for magic in the search window. It's just ad nauseum and amazing stuff. Fixing cars, fixing furnaces, fixing violet ray wands, fixing computers, healing people, whatever you want. You ask, it happens. Phenomenal.
So what could you help with the 5G thingy?
5G, if it's not already, will be converted worldwide to being a healing frequency.
Cool. Good to know that. Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much.
I'm pretty sure it's very close to it already, but very definitely, bubbles, a bubble piece in like an entire city. It only depends on how big the city is. It only takes a few bubble pieces to completely eliminate the harmful effect of 5G and cell phone radiation and nuclear. There's an essay. I'm on academia. Mike Emery on academia. It's like Scribe. It's a big. There's 30 million researchers on there. I'm in the top 1/10 of 1%.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's an essay there. Nuclear amelioration. The directed energy weapon that hit Paradise, California. The lady had a bubble there. Okay, the bubble absorbed the energy from the DEW, converted it to chi, life force energy, and for about 100 feet around where the bubble is, everything's greener. So it's like, Dick, please bring your directed energy weapon. We can use it. No problem. It goes right into the bubble. We'll take care of that. And so, obviously, the same thing can be done with nuclear radiation. It doesn't make any difference what kind of radiation it is. The bubble will absorb it and convert it to chi, period. Simple.
Right. Mike, thank you so much indeed. We have to hand the microphone over to Larry because it's his platform today. It is his, and we will give you yours, so you got a longer time to speak, and then you can have your time to prepare for your presentation as well. Well, substantiated with pictures and photographs and videos, and we're so looking forward to what you can share with us, your information and your ideas and what you know. How's that, Mike?
Yeah, I know too much.
What?
Anyway,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know too
Thank
much.
you very much, Crystal. Thank you very much.
Thank God they didn't shut you up, though. You're still here. Cool. Good to see that you're looking good and well. All right. So if you want to hang around.
That, that's another aspect of bubble tech. We are there's three of us that are doing physical age regression. I'm actually getting a
I
little
thought
bit.
you looked younger. My God, you got baby skin.
I'm 70 years old, darling.
Oh gosh, yeah. Hey, Mike, I thought you might want to hang around because Larry is a very interesting inventor and he's got loads to share. So just hang around if you like.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
We
yeah.
got stuff to
Look forward
do.
to it.
Well, yeah, excuse if you do. So Larry, I would like to introduce you properly. I owe you that before I bring you up to the the microphone here, the stage to speak. So the first session of the 65th FESIG meeting has our speaker, Larry Woods, who's, well, you had your audience earlier. Some of them left already because they thought you're not be able to turn up. So here you are. So Larry will talk about his work and experience as an inventor, how the suppression intimidates and threatens. And he's going to talk about Nicola Tesla, the metaphysician, and the Vimanas, and the various designs of alternative energy. Larry Woods is a retired electrical engineer, master union electrician, inventor, bass fisherman. During his career, he had been successful at both designing and taking part in the construction of many projects, the design and installation of power factor correction in various industrial complexes, the elimination of odd harmonics from power supplies, central office communications facilities, bonding systems for cell towers, communication systems linking all workstations to central computer system, general building electrical system designs. As an inventor, or various increased amperage electrical coil designs, permanent magnet induction generators, sonic fish attractor, EM pulse gun, tube train creating its own power, self-powered vehicles, magnetic propulsion, and much more. I don't know how much you can cover from here, Larry. I leave it to you, okay? And let's go by ear, play by ear as time dictates. Thank you very much, Larry.
Thanks for having me and your patience, Crystal. Well, let's start by explaining what kind of a nut I really am. I believe in the electric universe, and I believe that everything has three properties. Frequency, which is vibration, that creates electricity, which creates a magnetic field. That, in my mind, is the Holy Trinity: frequency, electricity, and magnetism. Without these three things, nothing can happen. And this is in everything from a photon all the way up to the entire universe. They have those three properties, which means that everything has a toroidal field. Everything has a toroidal field. The magnetic field goes in, is changed to the different pole, comes out, goes back in. If you throw one pebble into a pond, it's a beautiful set of rings. But if you throw a handful in, each different beautiful set of rings interacts with the one next to it. And that's the world we're living in. We're bumping into each other's magnetic fields. In the universe, in what we think of as empty space, that's electrons and protons and all the things that make up the real matter in the universe, just waiting to come together. On the tether experiment, when they pulled the long wire behind the satellite and it instantly, they say that it broke. Well, it didn't break, it overamped and burned. There's so much energy in space that if you want to go from one planet to another with magnetic propulsion, the energy is there to do it with. The faster you go, the more energy you create. The more energy you create, the less mass you have. Einstein's equation, in my mind, should have been E equals the square root of MC, because in a magnetic, he didn't take magnetics into consideration. In a magnetic field, the faster you go, the more energy you need. But the faster you go in space, the more energy you create. Therefore, your magnetic bubble is intact no matter how fast you go. And everything's frequency anyway, so sympathetic resonance could be a form of travel, just like Mike just said. It's all possible. Now let's get to the inventors part of it. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, if you go to patent a free energy device, the Department of Defense will have bad words for you and say you can only sell it to us. Because of that, we've decided to not go any further. With that type of invention, I'm going into fishing now. So let's go right into that. Aquaponics. That's the growing of plants and fish through the same watering system. Number one, the Japanese in the early fish farming days tried to figure out how to make the fish feed so that they would grow faster. They played lots of different kinds of music, rock and roll and classical and everything like that, and finally brought it down to the fact that the musical note E in the 432 scale caused fish to feed. So we've got a sonic device that puts out the musical note E in multiple octaves. It's just a little CD player. We put it on the bottom of the boat. We've got a microphone that we drop into the water. That's it. That's all it is. And we have been catching some really good bass this year. So just a little hint for the aquaponics people. Another thing to increase the population of your fish is to use ozone through electrolysis and ozone, bubble your water that puts more oxygen into it, and you can get more fish per square or cubic meter of the tank. So that's a good little hint. And Pete Adams' ozone tubes, in my mind, is the best one on the market. He puts out 8 to 10% ozone, where the normal folks, you get 1 to 2% ozone in the water. And as you know, ozone dissipates out of the water, so you got to keep the system going. But it also purifies the water, and the ozone tubes will even take staph germs out of the water. You can use it in a hospital. I'm trying to go kind of fast just to see if I can get through all this. Let's go back to the toroidal fields. In normal, everyday electrical formulas, 1 volt through 1 ohm of conductor yields 1 amp. We have, through geometry and vortex math, created a coil that 1 volt through 0.46 ohms yields 10 amps, which means that you can use 10 wire sizes smaller and achieve the same amperage output. That particular coil has got 100 feet of 22 gauge wire on it. That's 0.46 ohms according to the formulas. Normally, it's rated for 0.9 amps, not even a whole amp. We put 30 amps through that and only get 120-degree temperature rise after 45 minutes. We put that much through a standard coil with that size and amount of wire on it, and it starts a fire in 3.5 minutes. So we're breaking some of the laws of thermodynamics with this thing. Everything that we've learned has come from the ancients. The Anunnaki stone pictures, their carvings in the stone, their golden plates that have the pictures of the helicopters and the land vehicles. Levitation is simply a matter of the same magnetic field. So the earth is negative, you create a negative field under your craft floats. It's as simple as that. The earth is negative, the sky is positive, everything in between is some form of capacitor. Anybody want to talk up and say how much I'm full of suey? No hands raised. Okay.
We just had a long talk on capacitors, so we're right on the same page with you.
Yep. Everything is frequency. The ancients communicated with frequency. The pyramids operated on frequency. The Queen's Chamber, when they first opened it up, there were mineral salts all over the inside of the Queen's Chamber. That's from hydrolysis. You put, could be camel urine, whatever. You put salt water, some sort of an electrolyte in the Queen's Chamber. The power was generated way under the pyramid in the chamber where the water goes through, the water table. Water running through granite generates electricity. Water booming on the bottom of the pyramid generates electricity at different frequencies. Those all went up through the conductive shafts into the Queen's Chamber, created the hydrogen. Hydrogen flowed up through the Queen's Chamber into the Grand Gallery, through a bunch of tuning rods in the Grand Gallery, whistled on up to the King's Chamber. The 5 rocks on the top of the King's Chamber were perfectly smooth and beautiful on 3 sides. The tops of them were pitted and chunked and drilled into to tune the stones so that they get their proper frequency to do their communication and whatever. The reason that it no longer works is sometime in the way back, one of the big stones above the King's Chamber cracked, and it no longer produces the proper frequency to generate the electricity. Now let's go to the Tesla towers. The Coil brothers are building the Tesla towers just outside of Waco, Texas. They have been given by me the proper frequencies to broadcast in all of the different ranges that they broadcast, so that they will be healing frequencies rather than harmful. Normal Tesla frequencies, as much as everybody loves them, were harmful. Okay, they were just a little bit off. You've got to tune the frequencies into harmony with a 432 matrix. If you don't, then they're going to be out of harmony and people are going to get sick under it. If you do and they are in harmony with 432, it'll be a healthy system and nobody will get sick from it. Same with the 5G. There are safe frequencies, and they have the same general that I gave the Tesla frequencies to is in charge of the 5G rollout. He has the proper frequencies. Trump might be the guy that's going to make them use these over here. That's why they're going against the Chinese set, because the Chinese frequencies are harmful. Don't get me started on 5G. And that's something else. Wi-Fi. Get your kids out of schools with Wi-Fi in them. If a child goes through kindergarten through 12th grade in Wi-Fi, 50% of the little girls will be sterile, and a little less than that of the boys will be sterile. At the end of high school, they're trying to destroy the next generation. After 3 generations of that, how many babies are you going to have? So do something if you can in your local school. Save your children. And another thing about 5G, the curved antennas are zinc colored. If you get a can of zinc spray paint and spray paint those things, their signal will not get through. Your 5G won't get through, but it won't be harmful. So that's one little bad way to get rid of it. Okay, what else do we want to go to? Good videos to watch. David LaPointe on the primer fields. Very good. He's got 3 videos. He promised more, but the government shut him down too. Okay, let's go to coil building. Tesla coils are basically perfect spirals wrapped in a circle. Vortex coils are spirals wrapped in a circle. They're a proper coil going around a proper dimensioned, I'll call it a donut, toroidal shape. With the proper dimensions, it has to be 2, 3, 8 for proportions. 2-inch hole in the middle, 3-inch ring, that makes it 8 inches on the outside. That is the proper proportion of any of them. You got different sizes as your holes get bigger, but it needs to stay in that proportion. That way the wire can travel around in a triple Mobius around that donut shape and create a perfect magnetic field. Hold your hand out flat. Your fingers go out one right next to another. They don't overlap. They don't cross. Excuse me. They just go right next to one another. That's the way the wires on your coil should be. When you cross a wire, that collapses the magnetic field. So if you got 9 of them running one right next to another, that makes 9 magnetic fields interacting one with the next. If you cross those wires, that collapses those into a single field. And that reduces the amount of magnetism you can get from a coil. You never want to overlap the wires anywhere, especially in the center. When your center gets filled up, you've got enough wire on the coil. When you wrap it, you wrap circuit number 1, or winding number 1, winding number 2, leave winding number 3 empty, wrap winding number 4, winding number 5, leave winding number 6 empty, wrap 7 and 8, and leave 9 empty. 3, 6, and 9 must always be empty so that the magnetic field created between 1 and 2, 4 and 5, 7 and 8 will all interact with one another and give them enough space to grow to their maximum potential. We do not use an iron core. An iron core simply limits the magnetic potential of the coil. Normal circuit. When you add a load, you get a voltage drop. Doesn't happen with these coils. When you add a load, it gives an amperage increase that's proportionate to the load, and that increases the magnetic field, and the increased magnetic field is what actually reduces the resistance of the wire. These things ask for more load up to their maximum potential. And as everybody knows, when you move a magnetic field past the conductor, it generates a minute amount of energy. What we've done is made a, wait a minute, let me step back a step. Hang on just a second. Okay. A V-gate is a V-shaped set of magnets that makes a shaft turn around that's got another magnet that moves up and down to attract and repel the magnets in the V. Okay, we have turned the V-gate into a circular stationary system, all the V-shaped magnets. In the center of that is a multi-pole magnet that floats in the V-gate, and as it's inserted, it rotates. That generates power out of this coil with permanent magnets, making them a magnetic generator. The only thing you have to do is modulate the frequency. That's the only electronics in the whole thing is a frequency modulation board. Those are cheap and plug and play. So your frequency modulation board will last 5 years, 10 years. And then eventually you're going to have to replace all the magnets because they'll run down. What does that take? 300, 400 years? So every 10 years, replace a board and give it to your grandkids. But Uncle Sam won't let us do that. That's disruptive technology. And it broke our hearts. So now we're making fishing lures and fish attractors. Are there any questions up to this point? Do you think I'm absolutely insane?
Wow, you're so spot on, Larry.
Absolutely
I'm sure
fantastic.
yeah, this whole team here, the R&D team, are so fascinated with what you got to say because it might help them with their missing equations. Thank
Well, let's talk about
May
how
I ask a question, please? So this is fantastic what you said about everything, but as you talked about the capacitance between Earth and the sky, now I'm thinking about my car because if I see the car, I see a bunch of mass which is isolated from the ground, and someone put the minus from the battery on. So it should be the plus that goes to the. Am I right here?
Yes, you certainly are. Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you
Yes,
very
sir.
much.
That will give you levitation. And it's the capacitance field. That's how one of the ways that you get direction out of a magnetic motor is have a multi-plate circular capacitor that's cut into like 48 different pie-shaped sections. And to go one direction, you just energize the absolute opposite direction in the capacitor bank, and that shoots you out the other way. Let's talk about making an electric car, an electric helicopter, something that you never have to get out of until it's time to go to the bathroom. A car, every rotating surface on a car can be fitted with magnets. You put the magnets inside of a toroidal coil, run all that power to a capacitor bank. You have 2 capacitor banks in the car. One of them that you have to charge first before the car can move anywhere. Once that's going, you get the car rolling. As the car begins to roll, it generates power through the coils, fills up that capacitor bank again. When that's full, it switches to a secondary bank. Excuse me. The secondary bank then it's charged up while you drive down the road. When you get where you're going, you plug into the building to charge the building from your secondary bank. That's what you do when you get home. You plug your house back in. The same with helicopters. Every rotating surface, and there's a lot of surfaces on the helicopter, every rotating surface can be fitted with magnets. Once again, you've got something that never has to come out of the sky. So this,
and when you're talking about toroidal coils, is this something that we can make for our own, or is it very special to build?
it's very tedious work, but yes, you can make it on your own. Do you know what a barber pole looks like? The very slow spiral on the barber pole?
Yes.
You may not be old enough for that. Anyway, if you take a candy cane, the stripe on the candy cane, if you make a circle out of that candy cane, that's basically what the coil looks like. It's got a very slow spiral. It's plotted on the toroidal shape with vortex math. You can learn vortex math. It's easy. I learned it. If I can learn it, everybody can learn it. My partner is a math genius. He taught me vortex math. He taught me Solomon math. He taught me pyramid math. All of these are completely different than what we were taught in school, and they are what you need to plot this out. Vortex math is the basis of the whole thing, by Marco Rodin. He's a really intelligent man. Basically, vortex math takes everything back down to the base numbers 1 through 9. And that's how you figure the healthy frequencies on any of the communication networks. If the frequency works out to 3, 6, or 9, it's healthy. It's not harmful. If it works out to 9, it's healthy. So there you go on that. The spiral is a triple Mobius. It's an equilateral triangle that spirals around the coil. No coil ever anymore should be less than 6 circuits, and 12 is the best. At least what we found is the best so far. Coils like that, and I'm saying circuits as different windings. When you put the 2 windings together and have the empty spot between every pair of windings, that allows that magnetic field to grow. And when it's in that triple Mobius, it keeps the entire magnetic field inside the ring and in the vortex. You can't even move a compass needle from outside of these coils except over the vortex, the hole in the middle. And that, again, is a unique property of these things, and it comes through geometry. Let's see. Again, everything is either in nature or the ancients. The ancients did everything with frequency. The pyramids were built with frequency. Yeah, maybe one time 25,000 years ago, there were giants on the earth because there was more oxygen. But even if they were giants, they still used frequency to build the pyramids. The Tibetan lamas use frequency right now today to move 2-ton stones without touching them. Okay, so it's proven, it's being used even today. It's normal man will not accept the fact that it's real, and governments suppress the knowledge. We should be flying in magnetic vehicles like they're using, like our Space Force is using already. We can get from planet to planet in minutes rather than hours or days. It's magnetic propulsion is a matter of putting 4 magnetic fields up, 2 norths together facing north and south, 2 souths together facing east and west. That way, that gives you a bubble that once you shift it to do your high maneuver speeds, you do not come outside of that magnetic field and get crushed. That means that no matter what speed you're going, you can make a high speed turn and you won't even feel it inside. You are only affected by the bubble that you are in. That's the way car stuff worked, Otis T. Carr. That's the way Tesla stuff worked. It's frequency. Frequency is vibration. Vibration creates electricity. Electricity creates magnetism. Everything is those 3 things. Everything. And once you realize that and know how the golden spiral works and know how the 5 relationship and the pyramid works, boom, you've just opened the gates to heaven. You can fly. You can create levitation. I'm sure that there's other things that we just haven't figured out yet. But it's all possible. Anything you can think of. An EM pulse gun, you can make an EM pulse gun out of a 6-volt flashlight. Wind the coil in the reflector of it. Wind the coil on the outside of the reflector. Put a starter board out of a fluorescent light in it, and boom, there's your EM pulse gun. Do away with some of these new creations. The 5G and the 4G and the 3G is all harmful. It's just some of it kills you faster than others. The frequencies that are being used on you today are all harmful, just like the homogeneous cumulus clouds. That means man-made. That means man-made. That's a new term that the weather people are using. And that's the poison that they're spraying. The 5G, the 4G, the 3G, all works off of vibrating your body. Once the vibration goes, then you're set. You're breathing in the aluminum out of the sky. That makes you more conductive, more susceptible to these frequencies. The smart meters on the houses, the people that talk to your friends that have smart meters. The ones with smart meters have more domestic violence in the home. That's what it does to you. It makes you mad. It makes you hurt your loved ones. That's just the outside effects. It's making you sterile. It's giving you lymphoma. It's bad. It's just bad.
Thank you for pointing. Thank you.
Yeah, but
can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for a great talk. This is brilliant. What I've been very concerned or occupied with the properties of aluminum and how we have just discovered that the coils in the drum motors that we are working on in this group are made out of aluminum wire. And this is very interesting because in the case of using aluminum, we know that aluminum is a negatively charged metal. So it essentially acts as a ground for, doesn't it?
That depends on how it's internally wired. In aluminum, you have to use one wire size larger than copper in order to achieve the same amperage output. And aluminum one nice thing about them, if you make a nice coil, it will conform to its own shape. That's why you don't wire a house with aluminum, because when you tighten the lug down, in 5 minutes, you can go back and take another turn on that same lug. So it makes for loose connections, which causes vibration and sparking and starts fires in houses wired with aluminum. But it works good in motors. It's a cheaper way to do it. However, the aluminum limits the magnetic field that can be produced. So in certain cases, that's a good thing, and in certain cases, that's a bad thing, depending upon what you want to do with the motor.
Yeah, this is the drum type motors that are often found in washer machines. The big high torque motors, drum.
Yeah.
So a 3-phase type motor.
Yeah. That'd be a good motor to magnetically turn and draw power off of.
Maybe Pontus can show pictures from what I'm talking about here, because I know he has.
Yeah, I'm familiar. Go ahead.
You see the picture?
Go.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is the BLDC drum motor. This is the rotor. This is the stator, and just a cable to it.
You're doing Lee Scalman's work.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. I've been fascinated with Coral Castle for years. He had multiple different shapes of coils that each different group of shapes gave out a different frequency. And when he cranked that motor with one hand, he became the same potential as that generator. And the water tube that he had next to him was just like the tuner on an old dial radio that moved back and forth across the resistor. As he cranked, he would put his hand up and down that tube of water until he got the right frequency to levitate whatever material he was using. And then he put his bar on his PMH and was done. Transferred it back out to the quarry.
That's nice.
Yeah, that was amazing stuff. We went through there when I was a little feller. Yeah. Lee Scalman is one of my heroes. And Schauberger taught us how to fly.
Do you have the close-up picture of the coil there, Pontus?
Yes, maybe.
You had a very good picture there where you could see the shellac and the aluminum being exposed.
Yeah, moment.
Yeah. While Pontus is sharing the picture, if I may request, Larry, would you be able to help us out in our Monday meetings where the R&D team are working on the device? Is that all right? Every Monday.
Are you working on the device that was just shown?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's almost complete. Have you got your coils wound for your inserts in each of the holes?
Yes. We are actually doing it from a washing machine motor that is already ready.
Yeah. I'm a real stickler for not overlapping the wire and the coils. Even when you just go round and round, do it in layers neatly. Don't just whoop it on there. That allows the magnetic field to do more things. And in this particular situation, the iron is okay because you're looking for specific frequencies. So you're doing good there. That's a beautiful setup.
Yeah.
What time is that on Mondays?
It's same time, 7:30 UK time.
Half
PM.
7 UK time. That would be 11:30 in the morning my time.
Yeah.
Okay.
11 to 11:30.
Okay.
Often we are a little bit early also. So.
Okay. Yeah, I might be able to make some of them.
Yeah, nice.
Thank you,
You're more
Larry.
than welcome.
Yeah, I would love to. There you go.
Yeah. Here you see the coils, and here you see that it is of aluminum.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the neutral point where all the three phases are connected together or soldered together.
And you're connecting these in delta, right?
Yeah.
No, star.
Star? Okay. Okay.
Do you think the delta is more promising, or
I fix it so that you can change it, because you might want to even go Y on the thing with a center neutral.
Yeah, well,
I don't know exactly how his was done.
This is a Y connection.
Yeah. Yeah, I just put a wire nut on top of that rather than soldering that connection, so that you can change it out and try different types of connections. What we found on our coils, you still get 10 amps per volt, whether you hook the input or the output in series or parallel. But when you wind them in parallel, or when you wire them in parallel, they don't put out as strong a magnetic field. We increase the magnetic field in a normal single circuit toroidal coil, single winding toroidal coil, from 4,000 milligauss to 38,000 milligauss with just the pattern change.
Yeah, that's nice.
that is, how do you measure such a high milligauss field? Because the one I have is only rated at, I think, 2,000 milligauss.
And that was a standard toroidal coil?
No, I'm talking about the measurement instrument, the Gauss meter. I don't have a Gauss meter that goes that measure that high. What type of instrument is measuring that high?
I got a really nice program on my cell phone.
Okay, you use the cell phone.
Yeah, your cell phone is designed to measure that, as well as have a compass in it that will measure your magnetic fields. The compass that I've got tells you how strong the magnetic field is that it's being attracted to, and it was free.
Do you know the pro application name?
I see. Let me look at it. Find it. I haven't been able to find it yet. I am no good. I just got a new one of them there fancy phones with the internet on it, and I don't know how to use a silly thing yet. I need a teenager. Well, there's my digital compass, but I don't see the meter. The digital compass doesn't tell me who it is, but it measures the magnetic field and all that stuff and tells me where I'm at. Doesn't tell me how lost I am, but later. I don't seem to find it.
It's okay, Larry. You can always put it on the chat box for me, and I'll pass it to the team.
Yeah, it was just a standard app under Gauss meter. in the App Store, Google Apps. I've got one of those LG phones. I don't even know what it is. I think it's an Android. I don't know. I don't know that sort of thing. I'm a complete idiot when it comes to that.
Thank
No
you.
problem.
That good information anyhow. I saw Frast there had a Gauss meter on his. He was showing. Maybe it's that one.
Yeah, something like that. And
Coolsoft, KEUWLSOFT is just a shareware Gauss meter for your cell phone.
there
And
you
can
go.
see as I go closer to the little Android tablet, you can see it increase the Gauss meter.
Yep. And those, they don't even have to be real accurate. What they're showing you is a difference. That's all any meter does, is shows you a difference between two potentials. So
And as long as you jump off the range, then you're good to go.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I prefer analog because it shows you what's really happening rather than what some machine decides might happen at some time in the future.
Right. Well, as a chairperson would do, it's my duty to make sure that we are on time and people are getting enough sleep. It's getting late in Europe for Pontus, and he has to work the next morning. And I'm so happy, Larry, that you would come and help us out. The R&D team meetings on Mondays. Every Monday they are meeting up same time, 7:30. Yeah. It'd be so good, and it's the same code if you want to join. Okay, and I'll put the code link onto your chat box. Okay, on Mondays.
Great.
You'll be reminded. Yeah, thank you so much. So I guess you can have all the questions ready for Larry this coming Monday, team members. Right. So is there anything I need to wrap up this meeting quickly now? This is the first session of the 65th FESIG meeting. So and I've got to go around the table now. Mike, you have anything that you want to ask Larry, because he's talking about the toroidal energy that has that is in everything.
Yeah, I understand where he's coming from, and I really like to get in contact with him to use some of his tech when after the RV, where he can come to Lake Tahoe and be with us and
Or
do all
after the
kinds of-
RV, Mike, are you saying the RV is going to happen now any moment?
Yeah, it's very definitely going to happen.
Yep, and you're all prepared.
I'm all prepared.
Yeah.
Cool.
Shut up, got a church
Well,
set up.
we'll be in touch again.
So
Yeah.
are we, Mike.
What's that?
So are we.
Yeah.
So are you. Cool.
Larry, Reno has 1 million square feet for me to make and distribute the advanced technologies, including the replicator, which I know how to make. If Area 51 doesn't give it to us, I know how to make it.
Yeah.
And an etheric antenna that communicates anywhere for nothing, for free. And the flying platforms, the Grubenikov flying platforms. We're so close. We're working on it for other purposes right now. For the physical age regression aspect of the bubble thing, which is doing that. Okay.
Mike, would you show your face again? You said you had physically age regress. Okay, let's have a look again.
Yeah, a little bit. I have age. I've gotten younger in the last 3 months.
You have. You look
Yeah,
younger.
you don't look a day over 100.
I hadn't seen you for years, and you look younger than when I last saw you. It's strange.
The Emery were noted for these wrinkles on her forehead. They're almost all gone. It's ridiculous.
I know you used to have. Now you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh, it's amazing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's not something I intended. It's just what happened. Yeah.
Are you still in London?
No, I'm up by Liverpool.
Liverpool. Oh, that's a bit far to go visit you.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
So are you coming to London?
No, probably not. I'm going to be going to Portugal here pretty quick.
All right. Okay. Right. Anyway, thank you so much, Mike, for attending this meeting, for coming in to the rescue. And thank you, Larry, for, well, you know, making it at last, even though you're not particularly in the right frame of mind. And I hope
Sorry
your
about
son,
that.
I hope, you know, don't be, accidents do happen. I pray that your son gets well soon, and the healing is going to be rapid for him.
We've already got magnets on his hands.
I can imagine. Yeah. Right. So I'm going to go around the table very quickly. I suppose everyone has your chance to ask Larry a question on Monday. All right. If there's no impertinent questions right now, I'm going round again.
Well, Larry, where are you?
I'm in Missouri, right in the middle of the United States.
Yeah, I know where that's at. I'm from Montana.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
My grandfather was born in Missouri. His
All
name was Jesse James Emery.
right. Was he born up by Kearney?
Yeah.
There you go. That's where Jesse James was born, where his farm was.
My great-grandmother was born on the adjacent farm to Jesse James in Norfolk, Missouri.
That's not too far from where I live. I fish up in that area on a nice little pond by Watkins Mill, the textile mill that was up there during the Civil War.
She told me one time that in the summer, especially in the summertime, when she'd go out of their house, out into their yard, anywhere on their farm, she'd always carry a stick with her because there was rattlesnakes everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. I need to close the meeting, guys. Press, is there anything else you want to say?
No, thank you. And I'll let you close the meeting.
Oh,
been
cool.
great.
Yeah, and Avin, thanks for your brilliant question.
John Lundy, by the way, he's been in here for a while.
Who?
John T. Lundy.
Oh, yes. Hi, John. Would you show yourself very quickly? I know you have the webcam on.
Yeah,
Just say hi.
He did show himself earlier.
Uh-huh. Okay. All right. He's muted or something. Right. Anyway, right. I've gone round the table, there being no other business. Now this meeting will be adjourned to the 66th meeting on the 3rd of July. And thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Larry, for coming back to speak, and Mike, and everyone who has chosen to spend some time to attend this meeting. Right. Namaste. Thank you. And don't stop the recording yet. I need to do the end credit. So share screen.